Welcome back to the Out of Bounds podcast. I am Charlie Caleri alongside
Gavin Williams.
And today we're going to do a little hot takes episode. So me and Gavin both wrote up 5 hot takes for the NHL, NBA, and NFL, all separately too, 5 for each sport.
Yep.
And we're going to tell you our hot takes and discuss them with each other. We haven't seen each other's hot takes yet. So
we've been hinting at them, trying not to tell each other because we do this way too much outside the podcast, but we've
been talking about it
now.
all day, yeah. So now it's here. So
yeah, so it was hard at lunch. It was hard at lunch when we were separated.
That's true. Eating our nuggets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, we tied today for nuggets. If anybody was wondering, we both got 8.
Yep.
But Charlie is in the lead.
Yep.
He is plus 4 nuggets.
Plus 4 nuggets, which is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through 2 games.
If you guys were wondering.
Just a little tidbit in
let's
there.
get right into it with the hot takes, Gavin. What's your first NHL hot take?
So my first NHL hot take, the Pittsburgh Penguins will miss the playoffs this year.
I don't think that's really a hot take at all.
No.
They
brought in the pieces. They still have.
Because I actually have. I'm not that specifically. I'll read mine right now because it's kind of tied with it.
Okay.
But Pittsburgh and Washington will both finish worse than Philadelphia this season.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
I think they'll both finish better than Philly.
I don't think so.
Really?
I really think with both of those teams, things that they lack is young, good pieces.
That's true.
They have young pieces, but they're not like
they're
top
old.
prospects.
They're old.
They're old. Like their best players are their oldest players. I think I don't know why I picked Philly specifically. I think it's just because they're like the second worst team in the Metro, usually ranked by most people.
Yeah.
Only in front of Columbus.
Yeah.
But Pittsburgh and Washington right now, I don't know. I don't think they'll have the legs to really make it through the whole season. I think Philly will finish like 1 or 2 points more than the next team.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Going on to my second one. Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, and Hellebuck will not win the Vezina. Not one of them will win it.
Not one of them.
Not one of them.
Wow. So, I mean, Allmark won it last year.
I don't think it'll be him.
I think that, I mean, those are 3 of the top guys in the league. I think the only guy that, maybe if this was a really hot take, maybe we'd put in Sorokin in there too.
I was thinking that's who's going to win it.
You think he's going to win it this year?
I think this is your.
I think that's the year Sorokin.
Maybe a little Jacob Markstrom action. Utica Comets legend.
Maybe that'd be.
He's been in the running before.
Yeah, they're playing pretty well right now. So let's see where Markstrom goes. I mean that's interesting actually because Vezina sometimes is that trophy that's kind of random. A random guy could just pop up and win it one year.
Markstrom's a cool guy. I met him.
You did?
Utica Comets legend.
Oh yeah, nice.
So hopefully, if he wins it, I know the
you
Vezina
get a shout out
winner.
too.
Yeah.
In the speech.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe I'll be like this little guy.
Remember Gavin Williams? Yeah.
St. Bonaventure. He records this podcast. I've heard of it once or twice.
Podcast. My second NHL hot take is that the Oilers will still make the playoffs, even after finishing nearly with an identical record as the Sharks to start the year. I just think when you have McDavid and Draisaitl, even though their goalies have been awful, I think they'll turn it around.
I think they'll make the playoffs. You have 2 of the best players in the league on one team, so if they don't make the playoffs, then it just proves that McDavid's not as good as we think he is.
Maybe not, or they're just not.
They're just a bad team.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily a hot take because they're still like, I think when they're on their game, they're probably one of the better teams in the league. But I think they're off to a slow start right now.
Yeah, like when they're off their game, they are off their game.
To start the year, I think they're like 2-9-1,
something like that.
As the time we're recording this.
It's not a good look
really
for
not
Edmonton
good at
right
all
now.
for the Oilers right now. But let's see if they can turn it around.
So, I will move on to another playoff team, but not in that circumstance. So the Maple Leafs. This is my hot take.
Ooh.
The Maple Leafs will move on from Samsonov, even though they just gave him a contract.
Wow. So, whole new goalie. Another one.
They've been playing with one.
Who? Oh, Wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been playing pretty good.
Yeah, he's been there. He was their backup last year, I think. And, he's a younger guy, I think, too. So, if they want to roll with Wall, I feel like hockey is the sport where you'll get a contract the most and then just usually not play after. Like a few years ago, the Sabres gave Taylor Hall a 1-year, $9 million deal, and he played half the season with us. We traded him at the trade deadline. He was so bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, even though they just gave Samson off a contract, like you said, I mean, I feel like they wouldn't be worried if they moved on from him, especially because they know that, if they don't win a cup or make a run in the next year or two, then they might lose Matthews.
Yeah.
His contract's up soon.
And we'll see. The Maple Leafs are in a really weird position right now. So we'll see what they do with what they have.
So this next one that I have is regarding a guy who I'm familiar with and you were familiar with last year, Patrick Kane. Huh. My prediction is that he doesn't sign the whole year. So he goes without a team the whole year. How severe is
his injury?
So his timetable right now from his agent was 4 to 6 months after his surgery, which was done in June. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So his timetable would be around, like the start would be around now that he would come back. Okay. So anytime from now until basically like the middle of January is his timetable to return. I just think he kind of punts on the whole year and says, let me just get healthy for a year and then I'll sign with the team next offseason.
I don't know. He's getting old. That's a good hot take because it's a 50-50 ball with that one.
Really is,
because he's old, so it's like, will he consider retirement? Or is it that maybe he has one more year in him, but he doesn't know where he wants to play yet? I don't know.
I think that's maybe part of it is that he wants to make sure that the last few years of his Hall of Fame career are, not like wasted. Being spent. Yeah, kind of being wasted or he's just not playing well. So
hey, you should come back to the Rangers. See what we could do something.
Maybe the Sabres would get him.
That'd be kind of cool. I would like.
He's a Buffalo guy. I mean, I don't really know if I want him.
He'd be a good veteran leadership in that locker room.
He would be a really good veteran.
Cup leadership.
And he would definitely help on the power play, which we've been struggling right now. But I think that'll turn up a little bit. So
you know who's been turning up in the power play?
Who?
The New York Rangers.
Chris Kreider. Yes, he's been playing pretty well this season.
Yeah,
started off.
Love Kreids. He's a good guy. So, is it your turn?
No, it's your turn.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost track.
How many?
You
got 2 left?
Got 2 left.
Yeah, me too.
This one was probably my hottest take I have. So get ready. Because the popcorn is popping on the shelves at the grocery store. It's not even in the cart.
Wow.
It's not even home. It's not even
in the
pay microwave. For it? No. You're just looking at it.
You're just looking at it on the shelf.
Yeah.
It's already popping.
You ready?
Oh, wow, yeah.
This is the last year that Draisaitl will be on the Oilers.
Wow. What's funny, we would have an Oilers one.
We do.
Yeah, I don't know. What's his do you know what his contract's looking like?
I'm not sure, but I think
you think he's the guy?
He might want out.
I think McDavid would want out before.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's McDavid's team, and that's and I think Draisaitl's he's a number 1 guy in the NHL. And he's like frowned upon because he's a number 2 guy.
This situation that we're looking at right here with Draisaitl and McDavid, if it stays how it is this season with their slow start, if they continue that slow start for the rest of the year, they're going to be kind of like the Angels.
Yeah.
With Trout and Ohtani,
yes.
It's kind of like having 2 of the top 5 players, I guess, in your sport, and then not doing anything with them, which I feel like is a lot of people have compared the Oilers and the Angels a lot because of that. But at least the Oilers have made the playoffs, and the Angels have not.
That's true. That's very true.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's going to be a really interesting situation if they don't turn it around.
Yeah.
Because it could be the trade deadline. They could just wait till the end of the season.
Yeah.
So
that's why I said this will be his last year because you never know.
Never know.
I think it actually will be though. Like I don't know why. I believe my own hot take here.
Bring him to the Sabres. I mean,
New York is the big apple. You know.
The Islanders. Yeah.
No,
I was kidding. No. So my next one, it's not specific to any team or player. It's about the league in general.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it.
The NHL should go back to the 1-8 playoff format, the 1 through 8 seeding playoff format.
100%.
Instead of the top 3 from each division, 2 wild cards.
I hate that.
I don't think it. I mean, I did hate it when it first came out, and I still don't love it. But I do think it's a competitive way to do it.
It is a very competitive.
But the 1 through 8. I mean, you'd have to.
Some of the best 8
you'd
don't
probably
even
have to
make
move
playoffs.
around the divisions a little bit, make them maybe probably do 4 in each conference, or something like that. But going back to the old 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, etc. That system, I just found that was just the way that hockey was the best.
It was.
Playoff hockey was at its best when
because you had the 2 best teams playing at the end.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's mostly how normal playoffs are. I mean, it's somewhat like that now.
Yeah.
It's just that they want to. I guess the NHL wanted to be more division based, which is kind of the opposite when
playoffs should come around.
It should be conference based.
Yes.
Not division based.
And a good point that I'll bring up here is I like it for one reason, and that's because of the rivalries I can play.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the Rangers and Devils.
Way more likely they play than if it was 4 versus 5 matchup, and then
But at the same time, when 2 division rivals can be top tier like the Devils and Rangers were last year, one of the teams was going to get out like earlier.
Right, because those were two of the top 4 teams in the conference.
Yeah, so nothing against the Devils, and I hate them a lot, but both of them shouldn't have been first-round exits. If the Rangers won, the Devils shouldn't have been first-round exits, and the Rangers shouldn't have.
I agree. Yeah, that's kind of how you weigh it, because some years it works out well, some years it doesn't. So, I mean, some years some divisions are way better than other ones.
That's very true.
So,
very true.
Yeah, that's something to keep track of. I hope they go back to it.
I do too.
Yeah.
So, my last hot take.
Is that even really a hot take that I don't know. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. Let us know. Let us know in the comments below.
My last hot take. The Avs will not get past the first round this year. Again.
Wait, yes. They lost to the Kraken.
Yes.
Yes. Wow. Again. And then what? Do you think they change anything?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think they make
Continuing on with this hot take, the cup was nice, but it's not coming soon.
So you think that they said that won the cup and then they've had a 2 year they're gonna have a 2 year cup hangover?
Kind of like Washington. You like Washington?
Oh, okay. So
I see them being they're not as old as Washington was.
So they're still a really solid team. They just don't do anything in the playoffs anymore.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to say.
I like that. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it.
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be a hot take.
It is a hot take. It definitely is a hot take. But it's definitely interesting and something to look out for.
Yeah, right.
My last one is a cup prediction right here.
All right, I want to hear
and
it.
It's not necessarily a hot take in the fact that it's two like crazy teams.
Yeah.
It's specific to the fact that both these teams lost in the conference finals last year. I predict that Dallas and Carolina will be the Stanley Cup finals this year.
Let's go Stars if that happens.
So those were both teams lost in the conference finals last year. And I honestly was wishing that was the final last year, but didn't end up happening.
As long as Vegas doesn't win, it's always a win in our books.
Yeah, and they still won. So so that's my cup final prediction, I guess. I don't really know how we feel about it though. How do you?
I don't feel about it. I don't feel it this year.
No,
not this year.
Who do you think?
Just off the top of my head.
Yeah, off the top of your head, who do you think's gonna be in the final?
Well, I think my boys in blue have really turned things around so far. It's way too early to even pick a cup final.
It is.
So I mean,
it's only a month in. Yeah. Not even.
And I mean, one of the hottest teams in the NHL right now, New York Rangers. I'm gonna be biased here. I mean, things are working right now. And
I guess
I'm just basing it off of right now.
Yeah.
Not based off anything last season. New coach seems like he's fitting well.
Yeah.
Put the Rangers in there.
So that's it for our NHL hot takes right there. Let's just move into the
NBA.
In the NBA now.
The National Basketball Association, some hot takes here. Let's see if Stephen A. Smith is listening because he has some horrible hot takes. So hopefully we have some better hot takes than Stephen A. Smith.
Probably will.
I
mean, I do like Stephen A. Smith for the meme facts.
Yeah.
He's very entertaining, and I do think he has some good takes. But overall, I feel like lately he's been
just entertainment for ESPN.
Yeah, he's getting clicks for ESPN. That he knows his role. He plays his role really well.
He does. Yeah. He does. So do you want me to go first here? Or you want to go first?
Okay. I do.
I can't remember the name of this guy. You're gonna have to help me out. But who's the coach of the Timberwolves?
Ooh, I have no clue.
I can't remember his name.
I don't know his name.
But he will win Coach of the Year.
Oh, really? Okay.
That is my first hot take for the NBA.
Why do you think he'll win Coach of the Year?
I think their team is looking much differently than the last year, as of right now. And Anthony Edwards is looking to be a true top 10 player in the league. And with that, they will lead the team. I think I'm going to put a little extra hot take on this. They might end up as the 4-5 seed in this playoffs. So I'm going to put them.
Is it an additional hot take, or is it just with your?
It's just with it.
So the Timberwolves in general,
they're going to be good. Yeah. So that's why the coach of the Timberwolves will win Coach of the Year.
Chris Finch. That's his name.
Finch.
Yeah, he's been their coach since 21. So he's been there since Ant's been there and
been able to build
been able to build it up a little bit. So yeah, this is definitely a year for Minnesota where they can try to go for it really, because I mean they have all the pieces in place. They just got to do it.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. My first one is that I don't know how you feel about this one, but I think this is the year that Luka wins MVP. The way that he started this is his stats through eight games.
I want to hear it.
Now that's 10th of the season.
Yes.
Granted.
Yes.
You know, the whole thing's granted, whatever. But maybe until we get to NFL. But for right now, my prediction is Luka's going to win the MVP because he's averaging 31.5 points per game this year, which is first or second in the league. I think Embiid's up there too. And then 8.8 assists per game. 8.8 assists per game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he's making over 4 threes per game. 4.1
Wow.
threes per game. He's only behind Steph Curry, who has 5.9.
I think
5.9 threes per game.
I
He's
think
averaging
Steph
right
Curry
now.
is right now. As of right now, he's in the running for MVP as of right now.
Definitely, but I just think Luka. I mean, we haven't seen this production out of him at least early in the season since probably the year right after the COVID year,
Yeah,
whatever
I
year
was
that
about
was.
to say the same thing.
21-22 season.
Yep.
So yeah, we haven't seen this kind of Luka, since that season. So I think this might be the year for him.
All right, it's a good way to start it off.
Everybody's been
NBA.
talking about it for
Everybody
like the
has.
past 5 years. So
I mean, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. 2K loves it too.
yeah, they really do. Him and Giannis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My second NBA hot take, which isn't too hot, it's just kind of warm. I think it's still kind of hot though. So Victor Wembanyama will not win the Rookie of the Year,
I hope not. I think it's gonna be Chet
and that's
Holmgren.
what I have.
You do?
Chet will win.
There we go.
Yep, that's what I have on my sheet
There
of
we
paper
go.
in front of me. So Chet Holmgren will win. Victor Wembanyama will come in either second or third. You never know.
Yeah, and I honestly right now I think that is probably a hot take because Wemby has been
Amazing.
this year. But Chet
Chet's been
Holmgren's
amazing too. I
Amazing
mean,
too.
It's gonna be a
And
tight battle.
I think
for that.
especially because the Thunder might finish as a better team, maybe they'll give the slight edge to Chet. Maybe they say, hey,
contributed more.
yeah, maybe he contributed more to wins. But I think if the Spurs finish close to the Thunder in the standings, then it might go to Wemby. But let's not rule out guys like Grady Dick. I don't know. I'm a big Grady Dick guy.
Maybe Scoot Henderson.
And maybe Scoot. Yeah. I don't know.
Asur Thompson's been playing amazing.
Yes, he has. Yeah. The rookie class this year
Looking good.
looks very good this year, and I'm excited to see what they can do because this I think this honestly is one of the best classes that we've had since probably 2018, since Lucas class.
Yeah, okay.
So, which that class might be one of the best of all time. So
Hey, you never know.
I think so. If
can't
you
beat
look
the
at that, if you look at that draft class right now, it's crazy. I mean, the list just keeps going.
Well, that and the 03 draft class.
Well, yeah, the 03, the 96, the 85. There's one every decade. I think 2018 is the one for the
Yeah, I can
2010s
see that.
decade. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my next one is that the Grizzlies
We'll miss it.
will miss the playoffs this year because of their slow start without Ja Morant.
They are starting out really.
They're-
They've only won one game,
They're
right?
1-7
Yeah.
right now.
They have.
They're
really
the worst
slow.
team in the league.
Yep.
They were the last team to win a game.
Yep.
And they're still without Ja for how many more games? Is that?
He had a 25 game
For 16
suspension,
more games.
So yeah,
So they got to get through 16 more games without Ja.
they might win 3,
And I
They
think
are
they'll
not-
fin. I think they'll be
5 and 20.
8-17.
I'll say 5 and 20.
Or is that math right?
Yeah.
8-17 when Ja comes back.
Hey, there's
and
a reason we're not
I
mathematicians.
honestly don't think that Ja can make up enough points because think about it, he's gonna even when he's back, he's gonna have to get into a rhythm because I don't think he's allowed to practice with them right now.
Oh,
So he's away from the team fully. So that team chemistry might not be there right away. So I think that'll give it enough time.
Another
'Cause
slow
30
start.
games out of 82 is a massive chunk of
Oh,
the
yeah.
season. If you give Ja those 5 games to really adjust, I mean, they might go best 3-2 in those games. I don't know what their schedule's looking like when he comes back, but I'm assuming the NBA also loaded up on their good teams later in the year because they knew Ja was going to be out.
yeah.
So that's another thing right there too.
I could fully see that coming true. I mean, I don't really like the Grizzlies this year, like in the sense of being a playoff team. I like one man on the team, Marcus Smart, my man.
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Well, my other guy, but my main guy,
Yeah.
Marcus Smart. But the team's not looking good at all. There's zero offense. Desmond Bane, where's he been? The whole team.
I think
I'm
he'll
wondering-
start to turn up. I think a lot of his development was from Ja.
It was from Ja. I mean, they
Yeah.
worked really well together, and if one of them was off, the other one was on. I mean, that's just going to be how it goes for them.
I mean, I'm being serious right now, and you'll think I'm joking, but is losing Dylan Brooks going to hurt this team?
He's been playing amazing in Houston. I just want to point that out right now.
I know.
And even LeBron said, I saw an interview that said he's worth the contract he just got.
I mean,
He's playing like it. I'm not going to lie.
yeah, so I mean, they sub out. We talked about this in our predictions episode. We talked about subbing out basically Dylan Brooks for Marcus Smart, and how we thought that was,
Good
going to be a
move,
really
yeah.
good thing for them, which it still really could be.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's only 9 games in for the Grizzlies right now, but at this point, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. But I guess we'll see when Ja gets back how they're all going to mesh together and basically how they're going to play the rest of the season.
I like that hot take. That's a good one.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah, you went under the surface.
They've been one of the best teams in the league the last few years. So.
Yeah. So my next hot take is kind of like your NHL with like the playoff seedings, kind of. Same kind of league thing. So
Okay.
I have a league hot take for the NBA. It's not about the in-season tournament. A lot of people are talking about it. I want to shy away from it.
We have not really touched on that at all.
Yeah.
But I don't like it.
I don't either. But that's another episode.
That's another episode.
So this year's All-Star game will be real. Okay. It's not going to be just chucking up threes. It's going to be more real. And the East will beat the West.
Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting All-Star game.
So
you think they're going to go 100%?
I wouldn't say
90%.
I would say 85.
85%.
Yep.
So you think the players are going to actually try this year?
Because they're playing for the conference. They're finally playing for the conference.
You know what? I guess we'll see. I do honestly. You know how they changed it to like the target score in the fourth quarter?
Yep.
Do you like that?
I do.
I like it too.
I love it.
Because that fourth quarter,
so electric.
It's so electric because you're finishing with a buzzer or quote buzzer beater. No matter what,
you're playing for a charity.
That's excitement right there. You're playing for a massive charity in that area, so you definitely want to help out the kids or whoever is going to be affected there. And then I didn't even think about playing for your conference too. Even though you play against these guys for most of the games out of the season, you got to band together for one game and try to win it for your conference. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the conference that loses. That's embarrassing.
Right.
You can lose for Team LeBron and not care.
Yeah.
If you don't like LeBron.
You're going to lose for the West?
You lose for the West?
You're going to lose for the East? Come on.
Can't do it. Can't do it. I like that one.
Yeah.
I think you'll like this one too now.
Let me hear it.
I think the Bulls trade everybody good and just blow it up. Just blow it up.
Yeah.
Just blow it up.
I could see that.
Trade Zach LaVine. Trade Vucevic. Trade everybody.
Trade DeMar. He deserves to be on the team.
Trade DeMar. Trade everybody.
I like that hot take because
it's not working.
No.
It's not working as much as everybody wants it to work and how much it looks like it could work on paper. The way that the East is just set up right now, they just can't compete.
No,
they just can't compete. Their bench depth is not good enough. They don't have enough good young players, even though Patrick Williams is a really good young player still.
Yeah,
but,
he is.
Remember everybody was trashing them for picking him fourth in that draft. And he's turned out to be maybe not a top 4 player in that draft, but he's definitely a top 10 player in that draft.
Yep.
So they got their guy in that spot, which I definitely respect. But I think guys like LaVine and DeRozan and Vucevic, 2 out of the 3 will be gone by next season.
I could see that.
I
could see them moving on from DeMar and Vucevic. I just don't see them moving on from Zach just because that's been their guy.
Maybe
that's
the guy
years.
I think that's the guy they keep if I had to pick probably one of them.
Yeah,
because he's been there the longest. He's building a legacy there. He's probably involved in
the most
some
loved
ways
guy there. Yeah.
I don't really know how their fan base feels about the guys in that team, but I'm assuming Zach's a guy that they can all get behind because he's carried that team for years and only made the playoffs or even success.
Like
had success only maybe 2 of the seasons.
Yeah.
So let's see what the Bulls are gonna do.
Yeah, I like that hot take. My next one: the Brooklyn Nets will make the play-in, and they will win in as the 8th seed.
Mine's kind of similar. My other one, it's about the Houston Rockets.
Nice.
I think the Houston Rockets
Western Conference team
will make the play-in and be the 8th seed.
Nice.
I think, yeah.
So 2 little tidbits.
So you think? So why the Nets though? Why the Nets?
The way they've just been playing this year, it's been completely different than a selfish Nets team. This is reminding me of that year with the D-Lo, and when they played the Sixers in the first round. This is a team that likes to play with each other. They look happy. And a guy who just got hurt, who will be out for a minimum of 2 weeks.
Cam Thomas, that's a big
He's
blow.
been balling.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And he's going to come back. He's going to do it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
He is a baller. He should be their guy. Andrew Durr told me last year, I don't know why we don't start him every game. He's our best player. And I said, that's a great question. I watched it this year. I'm like, well, finally he's starting.
Yeah. I mean, obviously with having Kyrie last year, I think that maybe pushed Cam to the bench a little bit.
It did,
but
definitely.
That second half of last season when Kyrie was gone,
he turned up.
He turned up, and he was insane.
He's averaging 24 points a game this year.
You just mentioned that they remind you of, like,
D'Lo year.
the D'Lo year. I think they remind me of the year that like Lou Williams and Gallinari and Tobias Harris and Montrezl Harrell brought the Clippers to the playoffs against the Warriors,
like that team,
like the 8 seed. I think the 2018. 18-19 Clippers that year. I think that team reminds me a lot because they just played the Clippers the other night. We lost, but they were hitting shots.
Good.
Cam Thomas was hitting shots like crazy. Mikal Bridges is still playing really well.
I didn't realize how skinny Mikal Bridges is.
Very skinny, but
I didn't realize he's a Slim Reaper.
He's like a very mini version of Kevin Durant. Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that trade I think was really good for the Nets because
And he
Cam
could be his own guy
Johnson,
too.
Cam Johnson too. He's another guy that's turning up too.
He's gonna get some more playing time now
Yep.
too. So
that Nets team is
just
very
watch
exciting.
out for the Nets.
They're
I'm not even
very
kidding.
exciting.
I mean, like that might be a team who will take 2 away from someone in the playoffs,
Just like the
They
Clippers
might-
did.
Yeah, they might take someone to a game 6.
They definitely could if they play the Celtics or the Bucks in round 1. I think that they kind of match up well against them. I
They
don't
do.
know because Cam Thomas, if you got Dame on him,
Oh, Cam
Cam
Thomas
Thomas is
going to
cook Dame
Yeah.
defensively, and I think even if you have who would be on Cam Thomas for the Celtics?
I'd probably say Derek White.
All right, he's probably locking
Or
him
Drew
up. He's
Holiday.
probably locking. They're both locking him
Yeah.
up, but I'd still think Cam Thomas gets his points,
Yes.
or he's still a great
would still
passer
earn
too.
them.
So
Anybody
LSU,
from the
LSU
Nets.
legend Cam Thomas.
Yeah.
By the way,
So, moral of the story: Nets are going to be very exciting, and don't sleep on them this year.
my last one for the NBA, because I mentioned my Rockets
Yep.
one, is that the Pacers are going to be the Kings of last year.
Really?
I think the way that they've started the season, they beat the Bucks the other night.
Yep.
And it's funny because those teams made a trade very recently for Sabonis and Halliburton.
Yeah.
That kind of swap right there. I think those are small markets that their fan base, when they're good, rallies around them, and it's crazy. It's just like a college atmosphere.
Something about Indiana basketball.
Yeah.
Something about it.
I mean, Hoosiers, that whole movie and Larry
yeah.
Bird and all that. Yeah, I think honestly the Pacers this year, I think they're set up really well. I think Tyrese is going to be an All-NBA
Yeah.
player.
He'll be another All-Star
I think
guy.
he'll be All-NBA third team or maybe even second
Maybe
team.
even second team, yeah.
Who knows?
I can
But
see that.
definitely an All-Star this year. Could be an All-Star starter like Sabonis was. Not Sabonis wasn't an All-Star starter, but All-Star
Yeah.
last year. I think they just have really good pieces on that team.
I think it was a perfect fit trade that they both went for, and
It was a win-win trade, I think.
It was.
Yeah, for both.
because now Miles
Definitely
Turner
both
gets
sides,
to turn
yeah.
up more.
True.
So,
And it's funny because he wasn't even supposed to be with the Pacers. He signed a deal very briefly with another team. I can't remember who.
I can't remember either.
Can't remember who it was, but he signed a deal very briefly, and they brought him back, and they extended him, and he seems to be
Doing
thriving in his role and continuing to play well in Indiana. So
I used to want Miles Turner on the Celtics for so many
I want
years.
him on the Clippers all the time. He's a perfect big man for any contending team because
Yes.
he plays great defense around
Team
the
ball.
rim, and he shoots threes very efficiently.
Yeah.
So he's a great player.
So my last one, we talked about this before, but I need to throw it in there. The Orlando Magic will sneak in with the Nets and be the 7th seed.
You know what? I was going to do something about the Magic, and then I changed it to the Rockets one, which is very funny because I'm a massive fan of the Magic this year.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, something about that young team was really hungry. Something about it.
A lot of Michigan guys on that team, too. So Mo Wagner, Franz Wagner,
Wagner's.
Jet Howard's on that team. They have like 5 Michigan guys on that team. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Not to even mention like Cole Anthony that they have, Paolo,
Paulo, yeah.
Wendell Carter.
They have some
they're-
dogs on that team.
They have some
Markelle.
young, really, Markelle. We were just talking about him at Washington because we're going to be releasing a college basketball episode soon.
Yep.
So look out for that. Kind of similar to what we did with college football. We're going to put our top 5 teams from each conference and our Final Four prediction.
Little sneak
So
peek action.
Look
So
out for
that'll
that
be-
episode
that'll be
coming soon. So
now we're gonna segue our thoughts into the NFL.
yep, the current season, or I guess the current main season right
Yeah.
now, football season.
So I'll kick us off. The
Good
New York
wordplay there.
Giants.
Good wordplay there. You have a Giants one too?
The New York Giants will get Caleb Williams.
Dude, you're kidding right
By
now.
either getting him 4th or trading up.
My thing right here is the Giants will somehow end up with Caleb Williams. That's my
Wow.
first one.
Wow.
That's my
That's
first
my
one.
first one as well.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What are the chances of that? We did not discuss
No.
these before.
That's nuts.
What are the chances of that? Yeah, my thinking behind it was just that I think same thing as you. I think they'll either trade up because they're desperate, or he'll just fall to them
Yeah.
because the teams that are in front of them don't need a quarterback or just won't take one.
Yeah.
So
I think we're just on the same
simple
page
as
there.
that. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was.
That's kind of crazy.
Jeez, man.
That's the chemistry here at the Out of Bounds
Here
podcast.
we go. Here we go. Some team chemistry.
So our first runs are done now, so I'll go to my second one.
Yeah, go to your second one now, yeah.
So the Bears will land both the number 2 and the number 3 pick.
That's your second one?
Yep.
Who's going to be number 1?
Arizona.
Oh, okay. So you think it's going to go...
Arizona, Carolina, Chicago, New York.
So 4 NFC teams, all at the bottom of that draft order, starting off that draft. Have we ever seen that?
I don't know if we have.
Have we ever seen that? A fourth of a conference at the start of a draft?
That'd be crazy.
It's definitely possible. The way that the
you.
game was the other night.
Yeah.
I was talking about it during the game. I was saying Chicago should definitely want to win this game because
that means they get a better.
They
draft
can
pick
lose
from
the rest of
Carolina.
the season. It won't matter, and Carolina can win 2 games and it won't matter at all.
Yep.
So, I don't think they will.
Chicago was also like a win-win last night, so.
Kind of, yeah, basically.
But they just want to win the game so they can make sure that Carolina will get a worse draft pick than them.
I mean, for sure. If a team has another pick then you're probably going to play a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my second one is that, talking about Kyler with his return this weekend.
Okay.
I think Kyler gets the Cardinals to 4-13, which means that they would have to go 3-5 the rest of the season.
Wow.
I looked ahead at their schedule. And
Winnable
it's
games?
Very winnable games. I think they upset the Steelers.
Nice.
That's one of my little hot takes in there. I think they're gonna upset the Steelers.
I think
one of their games.
I think that can happen because Kyler, I think, is gonna really mash well with Marquise because that was his college quarterback.
I think so too. And if I mean, no offense to Josh Dobbs, he's one of our out of bounds quarterbacks. I think if anybody if Josh Dobbs can do it with that team and win a game and play competitively, I think when he's healthy, a top 10 quarterback, and Kyler Murray can do that too. So
I agree.
I think there's definitely a chance they can go 3-5 in their last.
That'd be cool
few
for the
games.
Cardinals fans.
Specifically 3-5.
Okay.
And finishing 4-13.
Yeah, I
That's
like that.
the hot take right there.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Here we go. My next one. The Houston Texans will sneak into the playoffs as a 7 seed.
See, this is funny because I have another Houston Texan one involving the playoffs. But should I do it now?
Do it now.
All right.
Do it now. Spit it out.
Mine is that the Texans Colts game, Week 18, will be the Sunday night game for the 7 seed.
Wow. This is awesome, guys. I mean, it's just
what
chemistry as its finest.
Yeah, I mean, this is unreal right now. Who knows?
Something about
who's gonna be
C.J.
brought in
Stroud this year. Just been unbelievable. He's by far the rookie of the year, and I think he's gonna carry their team to a 7 seed. I don't think they'll win their wild card game, whoever they play at the 2 seed, but
they'll have such a tough matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever they play,
it might be the Ravens, the Chiefs,
if they get
the
in.
Dolphins, if they get in. So, with that being said, I think they can sneak. I legitimately think they can sneak into the playoffs. And it all starts this Sunday if they can beat the Bengals.
That is very true because I was just going to mention that Bengals are a team that they're chasing. So, assuming that you have the Texans at the 7 seed, you have Bengals, Bills is the other 2.
Yes.
Yeah. So
because I had the Chargers at 7.
I agree. So
and
yeah,
then I
so
switched it from Texans. To
that's
Chargers.
another thing that I thought was funny about you mentioning Houston is that we both just disregarded the Jets and the Chargers and just jumped right over them.
Jumped right to Houston.
Right to Houston.
We got a problem.
I even went as far as the Colts.
Yeah.
Saying the Colts could be that 7 seed because if they win that game, I think they'll be in.
Wow. Some crazy stuff here out of bounds, ladies and gentlemen.
But I do think Houston gets in.
I do think
if I had to pick one of those 4 teams to get in as the 7 seed,
it would either
I
be
think
the
it'd be
Texans or the Chargers, in my opinion.
I think it'd be Houston. I think right now
the
they're
Texans or
just
the
playing. I just think they're playing better.
They are. They're
as
playing
a team.
unbelievable ball right now.
LA's not just. They're not playing. When their offense shows up, their defense doesn't. When their defense shows up, their offense doesn't. They need to get on the same page. That's why they're 4-4.
Yeah.
That's why they're 4-4.
So my next 2 kind of relate to each other. But so you'll see why after.
Okay.
I'll go one, you'll go one still.
All right.
The Kansas City Chiefs will not get past the divisional round this year.
Do you have them as the 1 seed right now?
I don't know.
So you think even if they're the 1 seed, they lose their first playoff game?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I do.
Wow, that'd be the first time in Mahomes' career
That he won't get past the
that he
divisional.
won't get to the AFC Championship game,
Yeah.
which is
Crazy.
insane.
That's just crazy.
Insane.
The AFC is so good.
Yeah.
The top 4, even 5 or 6 teams in the AFC are just so good and so strong. And at this point in the playoffs this year, it is legitimately anybody's game. Anybody's game.
I think honestly,
No
it's an
matter where you
advantage. I think it's a better. Well, no, it's not. But I would say it is an advantage this year to be the 2 seed. especially because that 7 seed is going to be a team that kind of limps in
Yep.
or struggles to get into the playoffs if it's not one of the Bills or Bengals.
Yep.
Even if it is the Bills or Bengals,
Who knows when they can show
who even
up.
knows where the Bills are going to be at that time with all the injuries we have, if we have any more, knock on wood that we don't, or injuries for anybody for that matter, knock on wood that doesn't happen, but especially the Bills. But yeah, I think being the 2 seed this year, obviously it's not as good as being the 1 seed, getting a week off, but definitely already playing at home. I mean, playing a team that's kind of barely in, going to probably be home the next week. It's a big advantage being the 2 seed.
It is. This is the year of the 2 seed, maybe. We'll see.
Definitely could be because last year was the year of the 1 seed.
Yeah, it was. So
Work its way down.
what is your fourth one?
The Seattle Seahawks will fall off and miss the playoffs.
I think they will too.
They start 5-3. They're banged up right now. Kenneth Walker and Jackson Smith and Jigba didn't practice on Wednesday, so they're kind of banged up right now. DK hasn't been turning up. Geno has not been looking good the last few weeks,
No.
and their defense hasn't been that good the last few weeks. This is just me saying based on like projections for the season, but their schedule's pretty tough the rest of the way. Their team's not rolling right now. All signs point to the Seahawks falling off and missing the playoffs.
Sadly.
I think they're not even going to be in contention the last week.
I don't think they will be
Because
either.
if we remember last year too,
They weren't supposed to.
they
make the
weren't supposed to be in
playoffs.
the playoffs.
Yeah.
They really weren't. So that's something to note too. They were the 6th seed last year, but barely for tiebreakers. They ended up with the
I
tiebreakers.
thought they were the 7th.
They
seed.
were the 7th seed.
Yeah.
Sorry, they were the 7th seed because
They played the Niners.
they
for
played the
sure.
Niners. The Niners were the 2 seed. My mistake on that one.
That's a good hot take. I like that one a lot.
It's an interesting one because they could go either way. They really could. They're such a mystery team.
They are. So what relates to my first one might be the team that could beat the Chiefs, but
I have another AFC one too for my last one. Let's see if it's the same team.
so these teams matched up. I'm not saying this team will have to go through the Chiefs because they can go through anybody else, but the Jacksonville Jaguars will make the AFC Championship game.
You know what? I think that's a very good prediction. I think it's not the team that I was talking about, but yours is probably in line with mine because
Sure.
mine is the Ravens will be the AFC representative in the Super Bowl.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think the Ravens right now have the
they're the most dangerous team in the NFL.
most dangerous team in the AFC specifically.
Oh yeah,
I
because
still
the
think it's
Eagles.
the Eagles.
Yeah, okay.
But right now, the way that Ravens team is playing, I think they're not as good as they were in Lamar's MVP season, which it could happen again this year because that was going to be another hot take that I have. It was either this or Lamar wins MVP.
Both of
That was
them.
my
I think
hot
they
take.
both kind of go with each other at
They
the same
do.
time.
Because I think the Ravens will finish as the 1 or specifically the 2 seed in this case, which is a point that I just brought up.
Yep.
And their home field advantage is
Crazy.
top 5 in the league, I
Yep.
think, in my opinion. So all signs, I think, point right now to the Ravens being, I guess, that team if you're not picking the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to, so I'm not going to. And I think the Jags are a really good pick for the AFC Championship, but something about teams going on long winning streaks right before the playoffs kind of doesn't sit well with me.
Okay.
So I think the Jags will maybe taper off a little bit when it comes playoff time.
Yeah.
Not saying they're going to lose right away, but
But maybe if they could have their little stretch of like they lose 2 in a row here, so then they can get a little hot. Maybe lose one before they
that's
go in or
definitely
something.
yeah. Or they
I
can
don't
just
know.
keep winning and just win. Simple as that.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what.
I guess the Jags fans aren't used to that, but I guess this year they might be.
Hopefully they
So,
are.
Maybe they are.
So let's go
Hopefully they are,
Jags.
yeah.
Let's make it to the AFC Championship.
That'd be a great
game.
AFC Championship
Oh.
game. Ravens Jags in Baltimore.
Let's go Jags.
That'd be tough. That'd be a good game.
Duval.
That'd be a good game.
That'd be
It'd be
awesome.
a really good game. It would be refreshing to also see not one of the Bengals.
Bills, Chiefs, and
Well, maybe not the Bills, but
Bills, Chiefs, and Bengals. It'd
I
be
guess
refreshing.
for for like being an NFL fan.
Yes.
Probably refreshing to see one of those teams not in.
Yeah.
Or both. Or all three.
Yeah. I mean,
Who knows?
we'll see in just a couple months, actually.
I
Just
guess.
2 months,
and,
probably.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably come out with NFL predictions for the playoffs too. I'm assuming
Once that time comes around.
Yeah, and we'll keep up. We're gonna keep up with our weekly recaps and all that. And honestly, I just thought about this now. We're not gonna have the last few weeks of the season episodes.
Yeah.
So
They'll be all on our Instagram at
Yep, our
Out of
picks.
Bounds Podcast with a dot in between every single word.
Yes, there is. And so look out for that. Our picks will probably be posted around that time, but we'll keep you updated. So just
Yeah.
make sure you listen to our other episodes and stay tuned for that.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for listening today. Hope you guys have a great day. And if you have any constructive criticisms, comments, anything, we know you guys. We know you want us to be better. So
Yeah, we want to be better too. So let us know, please. And thank you guys. Have a great day.
have a day.